The afternoon of October 25th started like any other. I was watering the hydrangeas in the yard, enjoying that lovely, warm autumn sun that I love so much, when my phone rang. It was Ethan, my son. "Mum, we'll be over in a bit. Lucy wants to talk to you about something important." He hung up before I could answer. I put the phone in my apron pocket and kept tending to my plants. I didn't know that piece of technology, that slab of metal and glass, was about to show me the darkest truth of my life. My name is Laura Spencer. I'm 59 years old, and what I'm about to tell you tore my soul in two. I kept watering the hydrangeas, thinking about what was so important that Lucy wanted to discuss. They had been married for 5 years. Maybe they wanted to give me the news of a pregnancy. Maybe they needed financial help. Maybe they wanted to ask me to move in with them. I smiled to myself, imagining the possibilities. It was then that I heard her voice, Lucy's voice, coming from my pocket. I froze, the hose in my hand, water pouring over the plants. "She won't feel a thing," Lucy said. I didn't understand. I slowly took out the phone. The screen was on, an active call. Ethan's name was glowing on the display. I brought the device to my ear, confused. Had my son not hung up properly? Was the call open this entire time? "Are you sure?" It was the voice of my son, my Ethan. My heart began to pound harder. "Completely," Lucy replied. "It's just mixing it into her tea. She'll be out in 20 minutes, 30 max." The water from the hose was spilling onto my shoes. I couldn't move. "What if she wakes up?" Ethan asked. "She won't wake up, honey, trust me. My aunt used the same thing on her mother-in-law. It worked perfectly." I felt my legs give out. I leaned against the patio wall, the phone pressed against my ear, my heart racing. "And then what?" My son's voice sounded nervous. "Then we call the ambulance." Lucy spoke with a calmness that chilled my blood. "We'll say she felt ill, that she had a heart attack. At her age, with her blood pressure issues, no one will doubt it." "I don't know, Lucy. She's my mum." "Oh, Ethan, we've talked about this 1,000 times. Do you want to stay broke your entire life? That house is worth more than $5 million, and she doesn't even use the whole thing. It's 4 bedrooms for just one person. It's a waste." I closed my eyes. The hydrangeas I loved so much looked blurry through my tears. "Besides," Lucy continued, "think about our future, about the kids we're going to have. Do you want to raise them in that tiny apartment where we live? Your mum has already lived her life. She's already been happy. Now it's our turn." There was a long silence. I prayed silently. I prayed my son would say no, that he would say this was crazy, that he would defend me. "What if we just ask her for the house?" Ethan finally said. "Maybe she'll give it to us, or sell it cheap." "Are you crazy? Your mum loves that house. She lived there with your dad. She raised you there. She's never going to give it to us. And even if she sold it to us, she'd spend the money on trips or on silly things. We'll never get ahead that way." "But kill her, Lucy." "Don't say that word," she interrupted him harshly. "No one is going to kill anyone. We're just going to help her rest. Look at her, Ethan. She's tired, old, alone. What kind of life does she have? She spends her time watering plants and watching TV. We're doing her a favor." I couldn't breathe. Every word was a knife. "This afternoon, when we go to see her, you distract her," Lucy continued. "I'll prepare the tea just the way she likes it. Sweet, with cinnamon. We'll put in the powder. We'll say goodbye. In an hour, she'll be asleep. Forever. Without pain. Without suffering. And if something goes wrong, nothing is going to go wrong, honey. Trust me." The call ended. I stood there in my yard, surrounded by the plants I tended every afternoon, in the house where I had been happy with my husband, where I raised my son, where I thought I would live until my last day. And I understood. They were coming, any minute, with a smile, with sweet pastries, with loving words, and with poison. I looked at the clock, 4:30 in the afternoon. I didn't know how much time had passed since Ethan hung up the phone incorrectly. 10 minutes? 20? How much time did I have left? I ran inside the house, locking the door. My hands were trembling so much I could barely hold the phone. Who could I call? The police? And tell them what? That my son and my daughter-in-law planned to kill me but hadn't done it yet. Would anyone believe me? Ethan was a respected architect. Lucy, a kindergarten teacher. I was just a 59-year-old widow with blood pressure issues. I sat down on the living room couch, the same couch where my husband died 8 years ago, and for the first time in a long time, I felt completely alone. The phone vibrated in my hand, a message from Ethan. "Mum, we're on our way. We'll be there in half an hour. Get the coffee ready." A heart emoji. My son sent me a heart, the same son who was going to poison me in half an hour. Half an hour. 30 minutes to decide if I wanted to live or die. I got up from the couch and walked through the house like a sleepwalker. Every corner spoke to me. Every object reminded me of who I had been before that cursed call. The living room where Robert, my husband, taught me to dance the swing one summer night. The kitchen where I prepared Ethan's breakfast every morning for 18 years. The dining room where we celebrated his birthdays, his graduations, his wedding. I stopped in front of the photograph hanging on the hallway wall. Ethan and Lucy on their wedding day. He in his grey suit, she in that white dress that I helped pay for, both smiling. Lucy holding my arm, calling me Mom Laura for the first time. I had cried that day, tears of happiness, I thought. Tears of emotion because my son had found someone who loved him. Now I looked at that photo and saw something else. I saw a woman who was already planning to take everything. My son, my house, my life. Since when? Since the beginning? Or was it something that was born later, with time, with ambition? I remembered the day I met them. Ethan came for lunch one Sunday, beaming. "Mum, I want you to meet someone very special." Lucy walked in behind him, shy with a bouquet of daisies in her hands. "Mrs. Spencer, it's a pleasure. Ethan has told me so much about you." She was polite, pretty, with that soft voice that reminded me of teachers from long ago. She worked at a preschool downtown. She came from a humble family from Queens. Her father was a taxi driver, her mother a seamstress. I welcomed her warmly. I made fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and green beans. I served them on the good china, the porcelain set I only took out on special occasions. Lucy ate delicately, thanked me for every bite, and offered to wash the dishes. "No, honey, you're the guest," I told her. "Sit down. Let's talk." And we talked and talked. She told me about her difficult childhood, about how she had gone to college with scholarships and sacrifices, about how she dreamed of having her own family someday. "I never had anything," she told me with tears in her eyes, "but Ethan makes me feel like I deserve everything." I hugged her that day. I hugged her like the daughter I never had. How stupid I was. Their courtship lasted 2 years. Lucy came to the house every weekend. She helped me cook. She went to the farmer's market with me. She told me about her problems at work. I gave her advice, gave her clothes, bought her shoes. When Ethan told me he wanted to marry her, I jumped for joy. "Are you sure, honey?" "Completely, Mum. Lucy is the woman of my life." I paid for half of the wedding, the venue, the catering, the photographer. It was almost $200,000, my savings from years, But I did it happily because Ethan was my only son, because I wanted to see him happy. The night before the wedding, Lucy came to sleep at the house. She was nervous, couldn't sleep. "Come on, honey," I told her. "Let's have some herbal tea." We sat in the kitchen, both in our pajamas, with our steaming mugs, the same kitchen where I was standing now, trembling, knowing that this same daughter-in-law wanted to poison me. "Mrs. Laura," Lucy told me that night, "I know I'm not the woman you dreamed of for Ethan. I know I come from nothing, that I don't have a university degree, that my family is poor." "Don't talk nonsense," I interrupted her, taking her hand. "You are good. That's all that matters. I'm going to take care of your son," she promised me with tear-filled eyes. "I'm going to make him happy, and I'm going to take care of you too, because you're my family now." She hugged me. I stroked her hair. I thought, this girl is going to be a good wife, a good daughter-in-law, maybe someday a good mother to my grandchildren. How blind I was. The first few months were beautiful. Lucy and Ethan came every Sunday for dinner. She brought me flowers. She called me during the week to ask how I was. She invited me to their apartment. "Mrs. Laura, come see our home." I went. It was a small apartment in a busy part of Brooklyn. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a tiny kitchen, but it was clean, tidy, with wedding photos on the walls. "It's small," Lucy said apologetically, "but it's ours." "It's beautiful, honey," I told her. "The important thing is that you're together." But I noticed something in her gaze when she said, "It's small," a flash, an ambition I hadn't seen before. Months later, Lucy started making comments. "Oh, Mrs. Laura, your house is so lovely, so big, so full of light." "Yes, honey. Robert and I bought it 30 years ago. It was our dream." 4 bedrooms, right?" "Uh-huh. 1 for us, 1 for Ethan, a guest room, and the service room." "How wonderful," she sighed. "We barely fit in our apartment. And if we have kids, oh well, we'll have to settle." I didn't think anything bad at the time. It was natural for a young woman to dream of a bigger house. I had dreamed of it too at her age. But the comments continued. Every visit, every meal. "This kitchen is a dream, Mrs. Laura. I could cook marvels here. This garden is gorgeous. Too bad you can't bend down much anymore to take care of it properly. This house is worth a fortune, isn't it? With the neighborhood being so in demand." Ethan sometimes got annoyed. "Lucy, stop. Don't say those things." "What? I'm just chatting with your mum." And I defended Lucy. "Leave her alone, honey. She's not saying anything bad." But now, standing in my living room, the phone still in my hand, I remembered every comment, every question, every look Lucy gave my house. She wasn't just chatting, she was taking inventory, calculating how much it was worth, how much she could gain, how much I was in the way. I looked at the clock. 20 minutes. They must already be leaving their place, getting into the car, talking about me. Maybe Lucy had the poison in her purse. Maybe Ethan was driving in silence, convincing himself that this was the right thing to do. "We're doing her a favor," Lucy had said. I sat down again. I picked up my wedding photo with Robert. We were so young. He was 28, I was 23. We got married with nothing. We lived the first few years in a rented room. We ate beans and tortillas, but we were happy. Robert worked 12 hours a day at a hardware store. I sewed clothes at home to earn extra. We saved every dollar. We dreamed of having our own house someday. When Ethan was born, we were renting a 2-bedroom apartment in a working-class neighborhood. Robert took 2 jobs. I stopped sewing to take care of the baby. We were tired, but every night before sleeping, Robert would hug me and say, "Someday we're going to have our house, Laura. I promise you." And he kept his promise. He worked 20 years without rest. I did too. When Ethan started elementary school, I went back to sewing. Then I put up a tamale stand in the mornings. Then I sold beauty products, dollar by dollar, sacrifice after sacrifice, until one day Robert came home with the papers in his hand. "We did it, honey. The house is ours." We cried, embracing that night. All three of us, Robert, Ethan, and me, in our house, with our yard, with our future. Ethan was 12 years old. He chose his bedroom, the one that faced the garden. Robert painted the walls blue because it was his favorite color. I hung curtains. We bought him a bunk bed, even though he was an only child, because Ethan said that way he could invite friends to sleep over. We were happy here, so happy, until Robert got sick. Lung cancer. He smoked his whole life. He could never quit. The last 6 months were terrible. He slowly faded away on that living room couch. I took care of him day and night. Ethan came home from college to help me. He was 22 years old. He cried in silence when his father couldn't see him. The night Robert died, he took my hand. "Take care of Ethan," he said, barely breathing, "and take care of yourself. This house is yours, your effort, your life. Never lose it." "I won't lose it," I promised him. But now, 8 years later, my own son was coming to take it away from me. And my life, too. The phone vibrated again. Another message from Ethan. "We're on our way. Do you have cookies? Lucy loves your pecan sandies." Pecan sandies, the same ones I baked every time they visited, the same ones Lucy devoured, saying no one cooked like me. Lies. All lies. I got up. I went to the kitchen. I opened the container where I kept the cookies. I took them out one by one. I put them on a plate. I set up the coffee maker. I took out the mugs. And then I knew what I had to do. If they were coming to kill me, I was going to receive them, but not as the victim they expected. My hands trembled as I put the cookies on the plate. Every movement was automatic, as if my body knew what to do, even though my mind was shattered. When did everything really start to change? I tried to remember, to find the exact moment when my son stopped being my son. It was a year ago. I'm sure of it. Lucy and Ethan were celebrating their 4th wedding anniversary. They came for lunch on a Sunday, as always, but something was different. Ethan was quiet, serious. Lucy, too, although she tried to hide it with forced smiles. "What's wrong, honey?" I asked him while serving the chili. "You look worried." "Nothing, Mum. Work stuff." "Are you sure? You know you can tell me." Lucy quickly intervened. "Oh, Mrs. Laura, it's nothing serious. It's just that they're laying off people at the firm. Ethan is a little stressed." "Are you going to be fired?" I was alarmed. "No, Mum. I'm fine. Really." But he wasn't fine. I knew him. He was my son. There was something he wasn't telling me. We finished eating in an uncomfortable silence. Lucy helped clear the table. Ethan stayed seated, frowning at his phone. When Lucy went to the bathroom, I sat next to him. "Ethan, look at me." He looked up. I saw weariness in his eyes. And something else. Something I hadn't seen before. "What's really going on?" He sighed deeply. "Mum, do you know how much this house is worth?" The question caught me by surprise. "Well, we bought it for $300,000 30 years ago. I suppose it's worth more now. Why?" "It's worth a lot more, Mum. This area became very desirable. This house could be worth between $5 and $6 million." I remained silent. I didn't know what to say. "And that worries you?" I finally asked. "It's not that it worries me. It's just He stopped. He looked towards the bathroom, where Lucy still was. It's just that Lucy and I have been thinking about our future. We want to have kids, but the apartment we live in is really small, and with my salary, we can't afford to buy anything better. Do you want me to lend you money? No, Mum. It's not that. Then Lucy returned at that moment, as if she had been listening behind the door. Mrs. Laura, what is happening's that we were thinking. She sat down next to Ethan, taking his hand. This house is too big for you alone. 4 bedrooms, a garden that you can no longer take good care of. The stairs are difficult for you because of your knees. I'm fine, honey. I manage. Yes, but… Lucy exchanged a look with Ethan. How would you feel if we moved in with you? That way we take care of you. We keep you company, and you wouldn't be so lonely anymore. My heart skipped a beat. Live here, all 3 of us. It would be perfect, Mum, Ethan said, cheering up. We would pay all the expenses, the property tax, the electricity, the water. You wouldn't have to worry about anything anymore. And when we have babies, you could help us take care of them. It sounded logical, reasonable, even affectionate, but something inside me revolted. Honey, this is my house, my space. I need my privacy. Lucy's smile froze for a second. Just 1 second. But I saw it. Oh, Mrs. Laura, I don't mean to bother you. I just thought you would like the company. But if you don't want to, well, too bad. It's not that I don't want to. It's just… I searched for the right words. You are young. You need your own space. I'm used to living alone, to my routines. I don't want to be a burden. You would never be a burden, Mum, Ethan said, but his voice sounded different, cold. What if I help you with the down payment on a house instead? I offered. I have some savings. Not much, but something. You could buy something near here. I would see you often. Lucy let go of Ethan's hand. No, Mrs. Spencer. Thank you, but no. We'll manage. She stood up and started picking up her purse. Ethan also stood up. Are you leaving already? I asked, confused. But it's only 5 o'clock. Yes, Mum. Lucy has to prepare things for school tomorrow. But you always stay for dinner. We can't today, Lucy said without looking at me. Thanks for the meal. They left just like that. Ethan gave me a quick kiss on the forehead. Lucy didn't even say goodbye. That was the first fracture, although I didn't know it at the time. The following weeks were strange. Ethan didn't call as much as before. His messages were brief. I'm busy, Mum. Talk later. All good. When they finally came again, a month later, they were not the same. Lucy barely spoke to me. She answered in monosyllables. Ethan was tense, looking at his phone the whole time. Are you mad at me? I finally asked. No, Mum. Why would we be mad? I don't know. You feel different. We're just tired, Ethan said. Work, you know. But I knew it wasn't work. It was me. I was the problem, because I didn't want to give them my house. Months passed. The visits became more spaced out, once every 2 weeks, then once a month. Lucy's calls disappeared completely. She no longer brought me flowers. She no longer asked me how I was. And Ethan, my son, became a stranger. Honey, is something wrong? I asked him one afternoon when he came alone. Why do you ask that? Because you are not the same with me. I feel like you've distanced yourself. I didn't distance myself, Mum. I just grew up. I'm not a kid anymore. I know. But we used to talk. You used to tell me things. Now I barely know about your life. He was silent for a moment. Then he looked at me with an expression that hurt me. Mum, have you considered that maybe I also need my space? That not everything can revolve around you? The words fell on me like stones. I never asked that everything revolve around me. Didn't you? It's always, come over for lunch, come visit me, call me more often. Sometimes Lucy and I need time for ourselves. I just, I broke down. I just want to know that you're okay. You are my only son. And you are my only mum. But you can't control my life. I don't want to control it. I just want to be a part of it. Well, maybe that's the problem, he said, getting up, that you want to be a part of everything. And sometimes we need to build our life without you being there watching our every move. He left that day, leaving me heartbroken. I cried all night. I didn't understand what I had done wrong. I just wanted my son to be happy, to be close, to love me. Was that being controlling? I called my best friend Stella the next day. Oh, Laura, that's how sons are when they get married, she told me. The wife becomes the first priority. We come in second place. That's life. But I don't want to be in second place. I'm his mother. And he's your son. But he's not your little boy anymore. He has his own family now. Lucy is pulling him away from me. Or you don't want to let go. Those words hurt me, but they made me think. Could it be true? Was I clinging too tightly? I decided to give them space. I stopped calling so much. I stopped inviting them over every Sunday. I waited for them to initiate contact. A month passed, then two. Nothing. Ethan only sent me short texts on my birthday, Christmas, Mother's Day. Happy birthday, Mum. We love you so much. But they didn't come. They didn't call. They weren't there. Until 3 months ago. Lucy called me suddenly with that sweet voice I remembered. Mrs. Laura, how are you? I miss you so much. Really? I couldn't hide my surprise. Yes, I've been thinking about you. I know Ethan and I distanced ourselves. It was my fault. I was upset because you didn't want us to live together. But I'm over it now. I understand that you need your space. Thank you, honey. I miss you too. How about we come visit this Sunday? Like before? We'll bring sweet rolls and chat. I would love that. And they came. And Lucy was the Lucy of before again. Affectionate, attentive, asking about my health, my plants, my friends. Ethan also softened. He hugged me for a long time when he arrived. He told me I looked good, that he missed me. I felt like everything was back to normal. How naive I was. Because now, standing in my kitchen, waiting for them to come and kill me, I understood everything. They hadn't come back out of love. They had come back to study me, to observe my routines, to plan. Every visit over the last 3 months had been an inspection. How do you sleep, Mrs. Laura? Lucy asked me once. Well, honey, although sometimes it's hard because of my knee pain. Do you take anything to help you sleep? No, just my blood pressure pills. And you take them at night? In the morning and at night? Yes. Oh, that's good. It's important to be disciplined with your medicines. I thought it was genuine interest. Now I knew she was gathering information. Another time, Ethan asked me, Mum, are you still drinking tea in the afternoons? Yes, honey. It's my favorite time of the day. I sit in the garden with my chamomile tea and watch the sunset. Alone? Alone? Aren't you scared? I mean, if something were to happen to you and no one noticed. No, honey, I'm fine. Besides, I always have my phone close by. He nodded. He exchanged a look with Lucy that I didn't understand then. Now I understood it. They were choosing the perfect time. Afternoon tea. Alone. No one around. The doorbell rang. I froze in the kitchen, the plate of cookies in my hands. They had arrived. My son, my daughter-in-law, my murderers. I took a deep breath. I put the plate on the table. I took off my apron. I ran my hands through my hair. The doorbell rang again. "I'm coming," I shouted, trying to make my voice sound normal. I walked towards the door. Each step was heavy, as if I were walking to my own grave. I put my hand on the doorknob. I turned it. And there they were, Ethan with his smile, Lucy with her purse hanging from her shoulder, a purse where she was surely carrying my death. "Hi, Mom," Ethan said, hugging me. I felt his warmth, his smell, the smell of my son, the child I carried, the man I loved more than my life, the man who came to take it away from me. "Hi, honey," I replied, and my voice almost broke. Lucy kissed my cheek. "Mrs. Laura, it's good to see you. Have you made coffee yet?" "Yes, honey, come in." They walked into my house, the house they wanted to steal, the house they were willing to kill me for. They sat down in the living room, as so many times before, and I went to the kitchen to bring the coffee, which might be the last we would drink together. But this time, as I poured the mugs, as I put the cookies on the plate, as I tried to control the trembling of my hands, this time I knew the truth, and that changed everything. I returned to the living room, the tray shaking in my hands. Coffee, cookies, napkins, everything perfect, as always, as if nothing was wrong. "It smells delicious, Mum," Ethan said, settling into the couch. "These are your favorite cookies, honey. I baked them this morning." A lie. I had baked them yesterday, but I needed to say something, anything, so my voice wouldn't betray me. Lucy took her mug with that smile that now looked hateful to me. "Mrs. Laura, nobody makes coffee like you. It has a special touch." "Thank you, honey." I sat down across from them. I took my mug. My hands were still trembling, so I hid them in my lap. I had to act normal. I had to pretend I knew nothing, because if they discovered that I had overheard that conversation, I didn't even want to think about it. "So, how are you both?" I asked, forcing a smile. "It's been 2 weeks since you last visited." "Work has been heavy," Ethan said. "We have a big project at the firm, but we missed seeing you." Liar, I thought. You came because today is the day you chose to kill me. "I missed you too," I said out loud. Lucy bit into a cookie. "Oh, Mrs. Spencer, these cookies are wonderful. Will you give me the recipe someday?" "Of course, honey. Whenever you want." Whenever you want. As if there was a future. As if I would be alive tomorrow to give her that recipe. "And how have you been?" Lucy asked, with that falsely concerned voice. "How are your knees doing?" "I'm getting by, honey. In pain, but hanging in there." "Are you still taking your pills?" There it was. The question, disguised as affection. "Yes, every morning and every night." "That's good. It's important to take care of yourself at your age." At my age, 59 years old. I wasn't that old. But for them, I was already a nuisance who had lived too long. Ethan looked at his phone. Lucy drank her coffee slowly, observing the living room with those calculating eyes. "This house looks more beautiful every time we come," she said. "Did you do anything new to it?" "No, honey. Everything is the same." "Well, it looks different. Like more luminous. Like more valuable," she meant. "Like more mine when you're gone." The silence grew heavy. I didn't know what to say. Every word that came out of my mouth felt like an act, as if I were in a play where I was the only one who knew the ending. I looked at my son. I really looked at him. He was 31 years old. He was handsome, like his father, tall, light eyes, with that strong jaw that made women look at him. He wore a beard now, neatly trimmed. He dressed well, dress shirt, dark jeans, expensive shoes. That was my son, the baby who was born weighing just 5 pounds, the boy who cried at night and only calmed down when I held him, the teenager who hugged me after every football game, even if they lost, the man who was now planning to poison me. How had it come to this? At what point did I lose my son? "Mum, are you okay?" Ethan's voice snapped me out of my thoughts. "Yes, honey. Why?" "You were staring into space. You looked tired." "I just slept poorly last night." "Do you want me to make you some tea?" Lucy offered, getting up. "A warm cup of tea will relax you." My heart stopped. The tea. "No, no, honey, sit down. I already had coffee. If I drink tea, I'll get jittery." "Oh, but a little chamomile tea won't hurt. On the contrary, it relaxes you." She insisted. Of course she insisted. "Really, Lucy, I'm fine with the coffee." I saw frustration flash across her face. Just for a second. But I saw it. "As you wish, Mrs. Spencer." She sat down again. More tense now. Their plan was getting complicated. I was rejecting the tea, and without the tea they couldn't put the poison in me. I had to be careful. I couldn't reject everything. I couldn't raise suspicions. "And what was that important thing you wanted to talk about?" I asked, trying to change the subject. Ethan and Lucy looked at each other. It was a long look, as if they were communicating silently. "Well, Mum," Ethan began, "we wanted to talk to you about something delicate." My stomach tightened. "What is it?" "It's about your health," Lucy said, taking the floor. "Ethan and I have been worried about you." "Why?" "I'm fine." "Mum, you're 59 years old," Ethan said. "You live alone. You have blood pressure problems. Your knees hurt. What happens if one day you feel sick and there's no one to help?" "I have my phone. I can call an ambulance." "What if you have a heart attack and don't have time to call?" Lucy insisted. "God forbid, Mrs. Spencer. But at your age, these things happen." There it was. They were setting it up. The narrative, the excuse. She had a heart attack. At her age, with her blood pressure issues, it was to be expected. "I'm not going to die," I said, with more firmness than I felt. "No one is saying you're going to die, Mum. We're just saying it would be good for you to have company, for someone to take care of you." "I don't need to be taken care of. I've taken care of myself for 8 years." "But you're not so young anymore," Lucy said, with that false sweetness. "Things change. The body gets tired." "My body is fine." "Mum, don't get angry," Ethan intervened. "We just want what's best for you." What's best for you two, I thought. My death, my house, my money. "And what do you propose?" I asked, although I already knew the answer. "That you hire someone," Lucy said. "A nurse or a lady who helps you with the house and keeps you company. I don't want strangers in my house." "Then let us move in with you," Ethan blurted out. "We talked about this months ago. It's still a good idea." "I already told you no, honey." "Why not?" His voice rose in pitch. "We are your family. We're not strangers." "Because this is my house, my space. I need my privacy." "Privacy for what?" Lucy leaned forward. "To be alone? So no one notices if something happens to you?" "Nothing is going to happen to me." "You don't know that, Mrs. Laura. My grandmother thought the same thing. She lived alone, proud, saying she didn't need anyone. One day she fell in the bathroom. She broke her hip. She lay there for 6 hours before anyone found her. 6 hours suffering, screaming, with no one hearing her. The story was vivid, cruel, designed to scare me, and it worked. I felt fear, not of falling, but of them. I understand your concern, I said slowly, but I am fine. If I ever feel like I need help, I will ask for it. Are you sure? Ethan clenched his jaw. Lucy held her coffee mug tighter than necessary. Are you at least going to think about it? Ethan asked. Yes, honey, I will think about it. A lie. I wasn't going to think about anything. But I had to calm them down. I had to make them leave my house without trying anything. In the meantime, Lucy said, rummaging in her purse, I brought you some vitamins. They are great. My mum takes them and they've helped her a lot with her energy. She pulled out a bottle. Light green pills. My blood ran cold. Vitamins? Yes, Mrs. Spencer. They are natural, made from herbs. Take one in the morning and one at night. You'll see how much better you feel. She held the bottle out to me. I didn't take it. Thank you, honey, but I already take a lot of pills. I don't want to mix things. But these are natural. They won't interfere with your medicines. Even so, I prefer not to take anything else. Mum, Lucy is trying to help you, Ethan said, with a tone I didn't like. I know, honey, and I appreciate it. But my doctor always tells me not to take anything without consulting him first. These are just vitamins, Lucy insisted, leaving the bottle on the table. You don't need to consult your doctor about anything. But fine, I'll leave it here. Use it if you want. The bottle sat between us like a silent threat. Could that be the poison? Or was it really just vitamins? I couldn't know. But I couldn't risk it either. Have you eaten yet? I asked, trying to change the subject again. I can heat something up. No, Mum. Thanks, we already ate, Ethan said, checking his watch. In fact, we have to go now. So soon? You just got here. Yes, Lucy has papers to grade, and I have to finish some blueprints. They stood up. Okay, I understand. Relief flooded me. They were leaving, without trying anything, at least not today, or so I thought. Mrs. Laura, can I use your bathroom before we go? Lucy asked. Of course, honey. You know where it is. Lucy disappeared down the hall. Ethan and I were left alone in the living room. Mum, I know Lucy can be a little pushy, he said in a low voice. But she loves you very much. She's just worried about you. I looked at my son, at this man I no longer recognized. And you, honey? Are you worried too? Of course. You're my mum. You're what I love most in the world. The words sounded nice, but there was something false about them, like when an actor repeats a script he doesn't feel. Ethan, I started, not knowing exactly what to say, but Lucy came back at that moment. Ready? She said with a smile. We're leaving, Mrs. Spencer. They both hugged me. Ethan tightly, Lucy with that calculated hug that now gave me chills. Take good care of yourself, Lucy said, and take the vitamins. You'll see they'll do you good. Yes, honey. We'll call you tomorrow, Mum, Ethan said. All right, honey. I walked them to the door. They went out onto the street. They got into the car. Ethan started the engine. Before pulling away, Lucy rolled down the window. Mrs. Laura, don't forget to drink your tea this afternoon. It's good for your nerves, she smiled. She rolled up the window. The car drove away. I stood at the door, watching them leave, my heart racing. Don't forget to drink your tea. It wasn't loving advice. It was an order, a reminder. Drink your tea. That's when it's going to happen. I closed the door. I locked it. I ran to the kitchen. The bottle of vitamins Lucy had left was still on the table. I picked it up with trembling hands. I opened it. The pills were green, perfectly round. Could this be the poison? Or would they come later, when I was already taking these pills, so it would look like natural death? I didn't know, but I couldn't risk it. I went to the bathroom Lucy had just used. Everything looked normal. The toilet lid was down, the sink was clean, the towels were in place. But then I saw something. The medicine cabinet. The door was slightly ajar. I always left it closed. I approached slowly. I opened the door completely. My medicines were there. The blood pressure pills, the cholesterol pills, the pain pills. But something was different. The bottle of blood pressure pills, was in a different spot. I always put it on the left. Now it was on the right. Someone had moved it. Someone had opened it. I took the bottle with trembling hands. I opened it. I counted the pills. There should be 28. I had checked yesterday. 28 pills for 28 days. Now there were 30. 2 extra pills. Pills that I hadn't put there. Pills that looked exactly like mine. But they weren't mine. Lucy had been in my bathroom. She had opened my medicine cabinet. She had mixed poisoned pills with my real pills. And now, if I took my medicine like every night, without checking them, without counting them, one of those 2 fake pills would enter my body, and I would die, painlessly, without suspicion. Just a 59-year-old woman with blood pressure problems who took her medicine and didn't wake up. I sat down on the bathroom floor, hugging the bottle, trembling. The plan was perfect, and I almost fell for it. I don't know how long I sat on the bathroom floor, hugging that bottle of pills as if it were a bomb about to explode. 30 pills. There should have been 28. 2 of them wanted to kill me. I got up slowly, leaning on the sink. My knees protested, but the physical pain was nothing compared to the pain I felt in my chest. I walked to my bedroom. I locked the door. I sat on the bed. I had to think. I had to be smart. I opened the bottle again. I took out all the pills and put them on the white comforter of my bed. I examined them one by one under the lamplight. They were identical, all round, all the same size, all the same pale pink colour. But 2 of them were not what they seemed. How could I tell which ones? I smelled the pills. They all smelled the same. Like nothing. Like medicine. I touched them. They all had the same texture. I took one and carefully broke it in half. Inside it was white, pulverized, normal. I took another and broke it too, the same. I continued like this until I had broken 10 pills. All the same. I stopped. If I kept destroying them, I wouldn't have medicine left for the month. I put the broken pills aside. I gathered the ones that remained whole. There were 18. 2 of those 18 would kill me. I couldn't take them. I couldn't risk it. But if I didn't take my blood pressure medicine, I could have a heart attack for real. The doctor had warned me 1,000 times. Mrs. Laura, these pills are vital. If you stop taking them, even for a day, your pressure can skyrocket. And at your age, that is very dangerous. I was trapped. If I took the pills, I could die from poison. If I didn't take them, I could die from a heart attack. Either way, Lucy and Ethan won. I got up from the bed. I walked back and forth in the bedroom, thinking, looking for a way out. Then I remembered something. My friend Stella, her son was a pharmacist. He worked at a large pharmacy in the downtown area. I could go to him, show him the pills, ask him to analyze them. I looked at the clock. 7 o'clock at night. Pharmacies closed at 9. I still had time. I grabbed my purse. I put the bottle of pills inside. I put on a sweater. I took my car keys. I hadn't driven in months. Since my knees started hurting more, I preferred to take a taxi. But today, I couldn't risk it. I couldn't let anyone else know about this. I went down the stairs slowly. I left the house. Robert's car was still in the garage, an old but reliable Toyota. I started it. The engine coughed a bit, but it started. I drove through the streets of the neighborhood. The traffic was heavy at that hour. It took me almost 40 minutes to get to the pharmacy. I parked badly on the sidewalk. I didn't care. I went in almost running. A young man greeted me from behind the counter. "Good evening, ma'am. How can I help you?" "I need to speak to the pharmacist." "That's me, ma'am. How can I help?" "No, I need to speak to Rodrigo, Stella Medina's son." "Ah, yes, Rodrigo. I'll call him now." He disappeared behind a curtain. I waited, gripping my purse against my chest, looking out at the street just in case I saw Ethan's car. I was paranoid. I knew it, but I couldn't help it. Rodrigo came out after a few minutes. He was a man about 35, tall, with glasses and a kind smile. "Mrs. Laura, what brings you here? My mom didn't tell me you were coming." "Your mom doesn't know. Rodrigo, I need your help. It's urgent." He noticed the fear in my voice. "Of course. Come into the office." He led me to a small room behind the pharmacy. He closed the door. He offered me a chair. "Tell me what's wrong." I took out the bottle of pills. I gave it to him with trembling hands. "These are my blood pressure pills. My doctor prescribed them to me. But I think someone switched them, that they put other poisoned pills in with the good ones." Rodrigo looked at me confused. "Poisoned? Why do you think that?" "Because I counted my pills yesterday. There were 28. Today there are 30. And I didn't buy any more. Someone put 2 extra pills in." He opened the bottle. He took out some pills. He examined them under a magnifying glass. "Who had access to your medicines?" I couldn't tell him the truth. Not yet. I don't know. Maybe someone broke into my house when I wasn't here. A lie, but necessary. Rodrigo continued to examine the pills. He took one. He broke it. He smelled the powder. He tasted a tiny bit with the tip of his tongue. "Mrs. Laura, I need to do a chemical test on these pills, but that takes time. Can you leave the bottle with me tonight? I'll give you the results tomorrow." "You can't do it now." "I don't have the equipment here. I have to take them to a lab nearby, but it's already closed. It opens tomorrow at 8 in the morning." I felt panic rise in my throat. "Rodrigo, please. I need to know now. Is there nothing you can do?" He saw the desperation in my eyes. "Let me do a quick test. It's not 100% accurate, but it can give me an idea." He left the room. He came back with some small bottles of colored liquids. He took a pill. He dissolved it in water. He added a few drops of one of the liquids. The water turned yellow. He added drops of another liquid. The water turned green. "This is normal," he said. "It's the chemical reaction of your medicine." He took another pill. He repeated the process. Yellow, green. Another pill. Yellow, green. He did this with 5 pills. But with the 6th one, the water turned yellow. Then, when he added the second liquid, instead of turning green, it turned brown, dark brown, like mud. Rodrigo stayed still. "What does that mean?" I asked, although I already knew the answer. "It means this pill has something else in it, something that shouldn't be there." Poison? I can't say for sure without a full analysis, but yes, it could be something toxic. The room started spinning. I grabbed onto the table. Mrs. Laura, are you okay? No, I'm not okay. Someone is trying to kill me, Rodrigo. Who? Do you have any idea who would do something like that? The words caught in my throat. How could I tell him? How could I explain that my own son wanted me dead? I'm not sure, I lied. That's why I need your help. I need to know exactly what's in these pills. And I need you not to tell anyone, not even your mum. Mum, if someone is trying to harm you, you should go to the police. I can't. Not until I'm sure. Please, Rodrigo, do me this favor. Analyze the pills. Tell me what they have. And keep it a secret. He looked at me for a long time. Then he nodded. All right, but on one condition. If I confirm there is poison in these pills, you go to the police. Deal? Deal. Leave the bottle with me. Tomorrow, first thing in the morning, I'll take the pills to the lab. I'll call you as soon as I have the results. I gave him the bottle. He gave me his cell phone number. Call me if anything happens, at any hour. Understood? Yes, thank you, Rodrigo. You don't know how much I appreciate it. I left the pharmacy feeling a little relieved, but only a little. Because now I had another problem. I didn't have my blood pressure pills, and I needed to take them tomorrow morning. I got into the car. I drove back home slowly, thinking, trying to find answers in the silence of the night. I could go to another pharmacy, buy more pills, but I needed the prescription. And the prescription was at home, in some drawer I would have to search. I got home almost at 9 o'clock at night. I went inside. I locked the door, all the doors, all the windows. The house felt different now, as if it was no longer my refuge, as if it were a trap. I went to the kitchen. The bottle of vitamins Lucy had left me was still on the table. I picked it up. I examined it. Vita Herb. Plus. Natural supplement. Take 1 capsule twice a day. I sat down. I opened the bottle. The capsules were green gelatin, filled with a dark brown powder. Were they really vitamins? Or was this another poison? Maybe Lucy had 2 plans. The pills in the medicine cabinet as a first option, and these vitamins as a backup. I couldn't trust anything that came from her. I put the bottle away in a drawer, out of sight. I searched through my old papers until I found the prescription for my blood pressure pills. It was expired, from 6 months ago. But maybe a doctor could give me a new one. Tomorrow I would go to Dr. Ramirez's office. I would ask him for a new prescription. I would buy fresh pills at a different pharmacy. And in the meantime, I had to survive the night, without my medicine. I poured myself a glass of water. I sat in the living room. I turned on the television, but I didn't really watch it. I just watched the images move while my mind kept thinking. My son wanted to kill me. My son. The child who had grown inside me. The baby I had breastfed. The boy who had called me mummy until he was 8. Until his friends made fun of him and he started calling me mum. The teenager who cried on my shoulder when his first love rejected him. The young man who hugged me, crying, the day we buried Robert. Don't worry, Mum. I'll take care of you. Always. Lies. All lies. Or maybe not. Maybe at that moment he had meant it. When did he change? When did love turn into greed? Was it Lucy's fault? Or was it always there, dormant in Ethan, waiting for the moment to wake up? The phone rang. I jumped. I looked at the screen. Ethan. I watched the phone vibrate. Once, twice, 3 times. I answered. Hello? Mom, how are you? You sound weird. I'm fine, honey, just tired. Have you had dinner? Yes, a lie. I heated up some soup. That's good. Hey, did you take the vitamins Lucy left you? There it was. The question. No, honey. Not yet. I told you I prefer to consult with my doctor first. Mom, they're just vitamins. They won't hurt you. I know, but I want to be careful. You're so distrustful. His voice sounded annoyed. Lucy gave them to you with love, and you are rejecting her. I'm not rejecting her. I just want to be cautious. Whatever. Pause. And did you take your blood pressure pills? My heart almost stopped. Why do you ask that? Because you always take them at 8 o'clock at night. It's already 9. I just want to know if you're taking care of yourself. He was checking. He was verifying that I had taken the poisoned pills. Yes, honey. I already took them. A lie. A while ago. That's good. I'm glad. Well, I'll let you rest. Sleep well, Mum. You too, honey. I love you. The words hurt me like knives. I love you too. He hung up. I remained seated with the phone in my hand. Ethan had called to make sure I had taken the poison, like someone checking if a trap had worked, like someone waiting for their prey to fall dead. I turned off the television. I turned off the lights. I went up the stairs slowly, gripping the railing because my knees hurt and because I felt like my legs would give out at any moment. I went into my bedroom. I put on my pajamas. I lay down in bed. The bed where Robert and I had slept for 22 years. The bed where I had cared for him in his last days. The bed where I now slept alone, knowing that the people I loved most in the world wanted me dead. I closed my eyes, but I couldn't sleep. What if tomorrow Rodrigo confirmed that the pills contained poison? What would I do then? Would I go to the police as he had asked me? Would I accuse my own son of attempted murder? Would I see Ethan handcuffed, put into a police car, crying, screaming that he hadn't done anything? Could I live with that guilt? But on the other hand, could I continue living knowing that my son was waiting for the next opportunity to kill me? I had no answers, only questions. Questions that gnawed at me from within. At midnight, I was still awake, staring at the ceiling. I felt pressure in my chest. A dull ache, as if an elephant had sat on my ribs. Was it my blood pressure? Was it rising because I hadn't taken my pills? Or was it just my heart breaking into 1,000 pieces? I got up, went to the bathroom, splashed water on my face, looked at myself in the mirror. A 59-year-old woman stared back at me, with wrinkles around her eyes, with grey hair that I no longer bothered to dye, with deep, dark circles that I hadn't had yesterday. This woman had worked her whole life, had sacrificed everything for her family, had loved with all her heart. And now she was alone, betrayed, hunted like an animal, but she was still alive. And as long as I was alive, I could fight. I returned to bed. This time I did fall asleep, a restless sleep, full of nightmares. I dreamed that Ethan was a child again, asking me to hold him, and when I held him, he stabbed a knife into my chest. Over and over again, without stopping smiling. I woke up screaming at 5 o'clock in the morning. The phone rang almost immediately, as if someone had been waiting. It was Rodrigo. Mrs. Laura, I'm sorry to call so early, but I need you to come to the lab urgently. I already have the results. What did you find? There was a long silence. Too long. Ma'am, I need you to come, and to be prepared, because what I'm going to tell you is going to change everything. I arrived at the lab at 6:30 in the morning. It was still dark, the streets empty, only a few street vendors setting up their stands for breakfast burritos and hot chocolate. Rodrigo was waiting for me outside. He had dark circles under his eyes. He looked like he hadn't slept. "Mrs. Laura, come in." He led me inside. The lab smelled of chemicals and alcohol. There were tables full of bottles, microscopes, computers. I sat down in a chair. My hands wouldn't stop trembling. "What did you find?" Rodrigo placed a folder on the table. He opened it. Inside were papers with numbers, graphs, words that I didn't understand. "Ma'am, out of the 30 pills you gave me, 28 are your normal medicine, chlorthalidone for blood pressure. They are exactly what they should be." "And the other two?" He took a deep breath. "The other 2 pills contain the same amount of chlorthalidone, but they also have something else, something that shouldn't be there." "What is it?" "Digoxin, in a very high dose." "I don't understand. What is that?" "It's a medication that is also used for the heart, but in controlled doses. The amount I found in each of those 2 pills is mortal." The word fell like a stone. Mortal. Would they have killed me? Yes. If you had taken one of those pills, your heart would have slowed down dangerously. First, you would feel nausea, dizziness, then confusion. Your heart would start beating irregularly, and then it would stop. How long would it have taken? Between 30 minutes and 2 hours, depending on your metabolism. I closed my eyes. I imagined the scene. Me taking my pill at night, feeling sick, calling Ethan, him arriving with Lucy, both acting worried while I died on the couch, calling the ambulance when it was already too late. "It was her heart, doctor. You know. She had blood pressure problems. She took her pills religiously. But sometimes these things happen, and no one would have suspected anything." "Would a doctor notice?" I asked. "I mean, in the autopsy?" Rodrigo shook his head. "Not necessarily. Digoxin is metabolized quickly, and in a person with pre-existing heart problems, a cardiac arrest would not raise suspicion, unless someone requested a full autopsy with specific toxicological analysis, and that is almost never done on older people with a medical history." The plan was perfect. Absolutely perfect. "Mrs. Laura," Rodrigo sat across from me, "you have to tell me who did this. This was not an accident. Someone deliberately adulterated your medicines to kill you." The tears started to fall. I couldn't stop them. "My son," I whispered, "and my daughter-in-law." "What?" "My son, Ethan, and his wife, Lucy. I overheard a conversation. They have a plan. They want my house. It's worth millions. And I'm in the way." Rodrigo turned pale. "My God. They came to visit me yesterday. Lucy went to the bathroom. When they left, I checked my medicine cabinet. The pills were moved, and there were 2 extra ones. Those 2. Ma'am, this is attempted homicide. You have to go to the police, now. And report my own son. It's your life. They tried to kill you." I know, I wiped my tears. "But he's my son, Rodrigo. My only son. I carried him for 9 months. I raised him. I loved him. How can I send him to jail? He was willing to see you dead." The words cut through me like knives. He was right. Rodrigo was right. But my mother's heart didn't understand reason. "Give me time," I asked him. "Just a little time to think about what to do." "Time for what? For them to try again?" "No. I already know they are trying to kill me. I won't give them another chance. But I need to understand why. I need to talk to him. I need to look him in the eyes and ask him how we got to this." "It's very dangerous, Ma'am." "I know, but it's my decision." Rodrigo sighed, frustrated. At least promise me you will be careful, that you won't eat or drink anything they give you, that you won't be alone with them. I promise you. And take this. He gave me an envelope. These are copies of the analyses. Keep them in a safe place. They are evidence, just in case. Just in case I ended up dead. He didn't say it, but we both thought it. Thank you, Rodrigo. Really, I don't know how to repay you for this. You don't have to repay me anything, just take care of yourself. And call me if you need anything. Anything at all. I left the lab as the sun began to rise. The sky was pink and orange, a beautiful day. A day I almost didn't see. I drove home slowly, thinking, trying to find answers in the morning silence. Why, Ethan? Why? Was it just the money? The house? Or was there something else? Did you hate me that much? Was I that much in the way of your life? I arrived home. I went inside. Everything was the same as yesterday, but it felt different. It was no longer my home. It was the prize my son was willing to kill me for. I went to the kitchen. I made coffee. I hadn't slept well. I hadn't eaten. But I wasn't hungry, just an emptiness in my stomach that no food could fill. The phone rang. Ethan. My hand trembled over the device. I let it ring twice before answering. Hello? Good morning, Mum. How did you sleep? His voice was warm, affectionate, as always, as if he hadn't planned my death yesterday. Fine, honey. And you? Good. Hey, Lucy and I were thinking of stopping by this afternoon. Do you have plans? My heart started beating faster. They wanted to come again, to check, to make sure. No, I don't have plans. Perfect. We'll stop by around 5. Lucy wants to bring food. She says you look very thin lately. Food? Of course. Another opportunity to poison me. You don't have to, honey. I can cook something. No, Mum. Let us spoil you. Besides, Lucy already bought everything. It's going to be your favorite chicken dish. My favorite dish, the one I had taught her how to make. Would that be where they would put the poison this time? All right, honey. I'll be waiting for you. Perfect. Oh, and Mum, did you take your pills this morning? There it was again, checking. Yes, honey, as always. That's good. Take good care of yourself. See you later. He hung up. I stood there with the phone in my hand, trembling. They were coming at 5, with poisoned food, hoping that I would already be weakened from having taken the adulterated pills last night and this morning. But I hadn't taken them. I was weak for other reasons. But I was alive and conscious, and this time I was going to be prepared. I went to my bedroom. I took out my old phone, one I barely used anymore. I charged it. Then I searched through my things until I found what I needed. A small voice recorder that Robert had given me years ago. I used it to record my to-do lists. I never thought I would need it for this. I tested it. It worked. I had a plan. When Ethan and Lucy arrived, I would welcome them as always, smiling, trusting, but with the recorder hidden in my pocket. And I would make them talk. I needed them to confess. I needed to hear it from their own mouths. Because up until that moment, a part of me still held on to hope. I still wanted to believe that everything was a misunderstanding, that the poisoned pills got there by mistake, that the conversation I overheard was about something else. I needed that hope to die so I could continue living. I spent the day preparing. I took a shower. I put on comfortable clothes. I hid Rodrigo's analysis papers in a safe place, inside a book that no one but me read. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I put the recorder in my sweater pocket. I turned it on. I checked that it was recording. At 5 o'clock sharp, The doorbell rang. I took a deep breath. I looked at myself in the hallway mirror. You can do this, Laura. You are stronger than you think. I opened the door. Ethan was smiling with a bag of sweet pastries in his hands. Lucy was carrying a large pot, smelling of chicken. Hi, Mom. Ethan hugged me. I closed my eyes. I memorized that hug because it might be the last. Hi, honey. Mrs. Laura. I brought your favorite chicken. You'll see how delicious it is. Lucy walked straight into the kitchen. I followed her inside. My heart was beating so fast I thought they could hear it. Lucy started serving the plates. Ethan set the table. Everything so normal, so familiar, so fake. We sat down. Lucy placed the plate in front of me. The chicken looked delicious. The sauce smelled incredible. But I couldn't eat. Try it, Mrs. Spencer. I made it with lots of love. I picked up my fork. I cut a small piece of chicken. I brought it close to my mouth, and I left it there. Is something wrong, Mum? Ethan asked. Don't you like it? Yes, it looks delicious. It's just, my stomach hurts a little. Do you feel sick? Lucy leaned towards me with false concern. A little dizzy. Maybe it's my blood pressure. Did you take your pills today? The question again. Yes, but I think they upset my stomach. Ethan and Lucy looked at each other. It was a quick look, but I saw it. Maybe you need to lie down, Ethan suggested. Yes, maybe. But first, I want to talk to you about something. What is it, Mum? I took a deep breath. The recorder was still working in my pocket. About the house. The atmosphere changed. It became tense. What about the house? Lucy asked in a cautious voice. I've been thinking. You're right. This house is too big for me alone, and you need space. So I decided to do something. I saw how their eyes lit up, like wolves seeing their wounded prey. What did you decide? Ethan asked, leaning forward. I'm going to sell the house. Silence, a heavy, dangerous silence. Sell it? Lucy repeated, and her voice sounded different now. Hard. Yes, I'm going to sell it and go live in a retirement community. A nice one, where there are people my age, where they'll take care of me. That way you don't have to worry about me. And the money from the sale? Ethan asked, and for the first time I saw something ugly on his face. I'm going to donate the money to a children's hospital or a senior centre. I haven't decided yet. Lucy stood up abruptly. Her chair scraped against the floor. Are you crazy? Lucy, Ethan warned. No, this is ridiculous. Lucy pointed her finger at me. That house is worth millions. Millions! And you're going to give it away to strangers? It's not giving it away. It's donating it to people who need it. We need it, she screamed. We live in a crappy apartment. We don't have money to have kids. And you have the luxury of living here alone, in this huge house, not doing anything. Lucy, calm down, Ethan said, but his voice didn't sound very convincing. I won't calm down. Do you know what the problem is, Mrs. Laura? You are selfish, a selfish old woman who thinks of no one but yourself. I just want to do what's best. What's best? Not for your son, not for your family, only for yourself and your damn conscience. Lucy, that's enough, Ethan said, getting up. No, you know what? I'm tired of it. Lucy looked at me with pure hatred. I'm tired of coming here every week pretending to care. I'm tired of smiling and saying, "Oh, Mrs. Laura, what delicious food you cook." I've hated you since the first day. The words were like slaps. Lucy, control yourself, Ethan warned, looking at me. Why? What for? Anyway, She stopped. She realized what she was about to say. Anyway, what, Lucy? I asked with a trembling voice. Finish the sentence. She looked at me with eyes full of venom. Anyway. You're going to die soon anyway. The silence that followed was absolute. Ethan turned pale. Lucy, what did you say? What you heard. She's going to die. Don't you see how she is? Weak, old, sick. She doesn't have much time left. Why pretend? I got up. My legs were trembling, but they held me up. And you were going to help make that time shorter, right? Lucy froze. What are you talking about? About the pills, the ones you put in my medicine cabinet. I saw fear cross her face, just for a second, but I saw it. What pills? I didn't put anything in there. 2 pills, with digoxin, enough to stop my heart. Are you crazy? I'm not crazy. I had them analyzed. I have the results. The color drained from Lucy's face. Ethan was looking at both of us, confused. What are you talking about? Ask your wife, I said, without taking my eyes off Lucy. Ask her what she was doing in my bathroom yesterday. Ask her what she put in my medicine cabinet. Mum, you're talking nonsense. Nonsense? I took the recorder out of my pocket. Is this nonsense? And I pressed play. My voice came out of the device. The conversation from 2 days ago, when Ethan's phone was left open without him knowing. She won't feel a thing. Are you sure? It's just mixing it into her tea. She'll be out in 20 minutes. The voices of Lucy and Ethan filled the kitchen. I watched as my son's face crumbled. I watched as Lucy understood that we were found out. And I watched as everything that was left of my family broke into 1,000 pieces. The recording continued to play. Every word was a hammer hitting the silence of the kitchen. And what if she wakes up? She won't wake up, honey. Trust me. And then what? Then we call the ambulance. We'll say she felt ill, that she had a heart attack. Ethan collapsed into the chair. His face was white as a sheet. Mom. You what? My voice came out louder than I expected. You what, Ethan? Are you going to tell me it's not what it looks like? That I misunderstood? He stammered, looking at Lucy as if seeking help. But Lucy was no longer pretending. The mask had completely fallen. She looked at me with pure hatred. Yes, she said, crossing her arms. We planned to kill you. So what? What are you going to do about it? Lucy, shut up, Ethan yelled. Why? She already knows everything. There's no point in lying anymore. You're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. I'm crazy? Lucy laughed, a horrible laugh. You're the one who came up with the idea, Ethan. Did you forget? You were the one who said, my mum is worth more dead than alive. The words shot through my chest like bullets. Ethan covered his face with his hands. I didn't mean. Yes, you did mean it. Lucy turned to me. Do you want to know the truth, Mrs. Laura? Your son sought me out from the beginning because he knew I came from nothing, that I was hungry, that I would do anything to get ahead. That's not true, Ethan mumbled. Of course it's true. You told me your mum had a house worth millions, that it was your only inheritance, that if we got married, someday everything would be ours. You told me on our 3rd date. Did you forget? I looked at my son, waiting for him to deny it, to say that Lucy was lying, but Ethan said nothing. He just cried in silence. At first we thought about waiting, Lucy continued, about being patient. But the years passed, and you were still there, healthy, strong, taking care of your little plants, drinking your coffee, living in this enormous house while we drowned in debt. You have jobs, you have a roof over your head, you have food, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Food? Lucy laughed again. Sure, we eat beans and rice, while you have the luxury of throwing away food, of having 4 empty bedrooms, of living like a queen in a house you don't even use completely. This house is mine. I paid for it with my work, with Robert's work, and now it is ours. Or it should be. You have already lived your life. You have already been happy. You have had your marriage, your family, your good years. Now it's our turn. And that's why you decided to kill me. It wasn't one day to the next, Lucy said, and her voice became cold, calculating. It was a process. First, we tried to convince you to let us live here. You refused. Then we tried to get you to sell us the house cheap. You also refused. You always refused everything. Because it's my house. But you're going to die, Lucy yelled. Sooner or later you're going to die. What difference does it make if it's today or in 10 years? In the end, the result is the same. We get the house anyway. The difference, I said with a broken voice, is that those 10 years are my life, my time, my right. Your right, Lucy repeated with sarcasm. Always talking about your rights. And what about ours? The rights of young people who have a whole life ahead of us, who want to have children, who deserve an opportunity. At the cost of my life? Yes, Lucy approached me. Yes, at the cost of your life. Because life is unfair, Mrs. Laura. And those who don't fight, those who don't take what they want, are left with nothing. I come from nothing. I grew up with nothing, and I swore my children wouldn't go through the same thing. My children, too, I said. I also grew up poor. Everything cost me too, but I never killed anyone to get it. How noble, Lucy scoffed. How saintly. But look where you are now, alone, old, with a son who hates you. I don't hate her, Ethan suddenly shouted, getting up. I've never hated her. Then why? I asked him, turning towards him. Why did you agree to this, Ethan? You, my son, the child I raised with so much love. Ethan looked at me with red, tear-filled eyes. Because I'm tired, Mum. Tired of being poor. Tired of having nothing. Tired of seeing my friends buying houses, having kids, living well, while I'm still stuck in a crappy apartment earning a pittance. But you studied. You're an architect. You have a good job. Good job? He laughed bitterly. I earn $2,500 a month, Mum. $2,500. In this city, that's nothing. It's not enough for anything. And meanwhile, you have this house. This house that's worth $5 million. $5 million that are kept here, doing nothing, while I drown in debt. You could have asked me for help. I asked you for help. We asked you to let us live here. We asked you to sell us the house, and you always said no. Because it's my house, Ethan. It's all I have left of your father. It's my home. It's a house, he said coldly. 4 walls and a roof, nothing more. The words hurt me more than any physical blow. Do you really believe that? Yes, he wiped his tears. To you it's a museum, a place full of dead memories. But for us it could be a future, a life. A life they were going to build on my corpse. Ethan flinched at those words. I didn't want you to suffer. That's why the pills. It was going to be fast, painless. You would have fallen asleep and that's it. You wouldn't have known anything. And that makes it better? Tears ran down my cheeks. The fact that I wasn't going to suffer physically makes it okay for my own son to kill me. I don't know, he murmured. I no longer know what is right and what is wrong. I do know, I said firmly. Killing is wrong. Killing your own mother is wrong. and no amount of money justifies that. Easy for you to say when you're the one with the money, Lucy snapped. I earned this money, this house, with 30 years of work, of sacrifice. I don't owe you anything, Lucy. And Ethan doesn't owe me anything that justifies this either. Of course he owes you, Lucy said. He owes you his education, his career, everything he is. And now it's time for you to pay it back. By paying with my life? Exactly. The coldness with which she said it left me speechless. This woman had no conscience. She had no remorse. To her, I was just an obstacle, a problem that needed a solution. You are sick, I said finally. Both of you. You are sick and you need help. We don't need help, Lucy said. We need money and we are going to have it. Oh yeah? And how? I already know your plan. I already have proof. I have the analyzed pills. I have the recording. If something happens to me, the police will know exactly who it was. For the first time, I saw fear in Lucy's eyes. You're lying. I'm not lying. I took out my phone. Everything is backed up. The recordings, the analyses, everything. And if anything happens to me, it's automatically sent to the police, and to a lawyer, and to my friend Stella. A lie. I hadn't set up anything automatic, but they didn't know that. You're threatening us, Lucy said, and for the first time her voice sounded unsure. No, I'm protecting you. From yourselves. Because if you had managed to kill me, sooner or later someone would have discovered the truth, and then both of you would be in jail. Is that the future you want for your children? Ethan slumped in the chair again, his head in his hands. What have we done? He murmured. My God, what have we done? You haven't done anything yet, I said. You still have time to stop this. It's too late, Lucy said. She already knows everything. Yes, I know. But you didn't complete the crime. You didn't kill me. You tried, but you didn't succeed. That counts. What do you want? Lucy asked distrustfully. Money? The house? What? I want you to leave, I said simply. I want you to get out of my house now and never come back. Mum, Ethan started. No, don't call me Mum. You lost that right when you decided to kill me. The words came out hard, cold, but necessary. I'm sorry, Ethan said, crying. I'm so sorry, I don't know what I was thinking. I love you. I've always loved you. If you loved me, we wouldn't be here. It was Lucy. She convinced me. She put these ideas in my head. Don't blame me, Lucy shouted. You wanted the money just as much as I did. But I never would have done anything if you hadn't. Enough, I yelled, and they both fell silent. I don't care who had the idea first. Both of you agreed. Both of you were going to do it. And that is enough. What are you going to do? Lucy asked. Call the police? I thought about that. About seeing my son handcuffed. Seeing him in a trial. In jail. I couldn't. As much as he had betrayed me, he was still my son. I'm not going to call the police, I said finally. But on one condition. What is it? You leave my life. Forever. Don't call me. Don't look for me. Don't talk to me. It's as if I died for you. As if I never existed. Mum, you can't ask that, Ethan said. I can, and I am asking it. Is it that or jail? You decide. Ethan looked at me with agony in his eyes. Do you really hate me that much? I don't hate you, I said. And it was true. But I can't have you near me. I can't live in fear. I can't spend every day wondering if this time you're going to try again. So it's better this way. You go on with your life. I'll go on with mine. Separately. And the house? Lucy asked, ever practical. What are you going to do with it? That's none of your business anymore. You're going to donate it, right? Like you said before? You're going to give it away to strangers? Maybe. Or maybe I'll sell it and move somewhere else. Far from here. Far from you. I haven't decided yet. But whatever I do is not your problem. Lucy clenched her fists. I saw the hatred on her face. But I also saw resignation. She knew she had lost. Let's go, Ethan, she said. There's nothing more to do here. Ethan didn't move. He looked at me with pleading eyes. Mum, please don't do this. We can fix it. We can go to therapy. There's nothing to fix, I said firmly. What was between us died the day you decided to kill me. No therapy can resurrect it. But I'm your son. You were my son. I don't know what you are now. Those words broke him. Ethan started crying like he did when he was a child, with big, loud sobs. But I didn't approach him. I didn't hug him. I didn't comfort him, because it was no longer my job. Leave, I repeated. Now. Lucy grabbed Ethan's arm, pulled him up from the chair, and pushed him towards the door. You heard your mum. We're leaving. They walked towards the exit. I followed them, keeping my distance. At the door, Ethan turned around one last time. Mum, if I could go back in time. But you can't, I interrupted him. No one can. So you have to live with what you did. Just as I have to live knowing what my son was willing to do to me. I'm sorry, Tads, he whispered. I know, but that doesn't change anything. Lucy pulled him outside. I watched them get into the car. I watched them drive away. And when the car disappeared around the corner, I closed the door. I locked it. And I collapsed onto the floor, crying. I cried for everything I had lost. For my son, for my family, for the illusion that love was enough. I cried until I had no more tears left. And when I finally got up, hours later, with swollen eyes and a broken heart, I knew one thing. I had lost my family, but I had saved my life. And sometimes that has to be enough. I spent 3 days without leaving the house. 3 days where I barely ate, barely slept, where I just walked from room to room like a ghost in my own house. The house that almost cost me my life. The house my son was willing to kill me for. On the 4th day, my friend Stella knocked on the door. I hadn't called her. I hadn't told her anything. But she had that mother's intuition that knows when something is wrong. Laura, open up. I know you're in there. I opened the door. She saw my face and she knew. My God, what happened to you? I couldn't speak. She just hugged me and let me cry on her shoulder like I hadn't cried with anyone. We went into the kitchen. She made coffee. I told her everything, every detail. The pills, the recording, the confrontation, the goodbye. Stella listened in silence, tears rolling down her cheeks. Oh, honey, she finally said. I can't believe Ethan. I watched him grow up. He's like my nephew. How could he? I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. You have to report him. You can't let this go. I can't send my son to jail, Stella. He was going to send you to a coffin. The words were harsh, but true. I know, but he's my son. I can't. Stella sighed. Then what are you going to do? I don't know. I thought about selling the house, about moving far away, starting over somewhere else. At your age, alone? What else can I do? I can't stay here. This house is full of memories. Of Robert, of Ethan when he was a child. I can't look at these rooms anymore without thinking about everything I lost. Stella took my hand. Honey, listen to me closely. You didn't lose anything. They lost you. You are the victim here. Don't let them take your home too. Every time you see these walls, you will remember that you survived, that you were stronger, that you didn't let yourself be defeated. She squeezed my hand. This house is yours. You paid for it with your sweat, with your work, with your years alongside Robert. Don't let Ethan and that viper take it from you too. They already took your peace. Don't give them the pleasure of taking your home too. Her words hit me hard. She was right. Why did I have to be the one to leave? Why did I have to be the one to lose my house, my neighborhood, my life? They were the ones who had done wrong. But I can't stay here alone, I said. Not after all this. Then don't stay alone. Rent the extra bedrooms. Find company. There are girls who are studying and need an affordable place near the university. You have 4 empty bedrooms. You could rent 2 or 3. Have income. And most importantly, have people in the house, not be alone. The idea surprised me. I hadn't thought of it. Renting rooms? Of course. My cousin does it. She has a big house in a busy area of Seattle. She rents 3 bedrooms to students. They pay her $800 each per month. That's $2,400 a month. Plus your pension, you would live comfortably. And you would have company. Young people who look out for you without feeling obligated. I don't know, Stella. At least think about it. Don't make decisions now while you are hurting. Give yourself time. And in the meantime, stay with me for a few days. You shouldn't be alone. I accepted. I went to Stella's house with a small suitcase. I stayed a week. During that week, I thought a lot. About my life, about my options, about what I really wanted. And I came to a conclusion. I wasn't going to run away. I wasn't going to let Ethan and Lucy snatch my home from me. But I wasn't going to stay trapped in the past either. I returned to my house with a plan. The first thing I did was change all the locks. Ethan had keys. He wouldn't be able to use them anymore. Then, I hired someone to install security cameras. At the entrance, in the garden, in the backyard. After that, I went to a lawyer. I need to make a new will, I told him, and I need it to be bulletproof. Mr. Mendez, a man about 60 with a kind face, listened to my story without judging me. I understand. And what do you want to do with your assets? I want to leave the house to a foundation, one that helps older women who don't have family, that gives them shelter, support, that turns it into a home for women like me. And your son? I'm not leaving my son anything, absolutely nothing. Are you sure? He could contest the will. Let him. I have recordings of him planning to kill me. I have lab analyses of the poisoned pills. If he wants to fight, we'll fight. But he won't win. Mr. Mendez nodded slowly. Very well. I'll prepare the documents. You can come sign them in a week. In the meantime, I posted ads online. Rooms for rent for students, downtown area, safe house, family atmosphere. I received 20 responses in 2 days. I interviewed several young women. Finally, I chose 3. Carla, a 23-year-old veterinary student, sweet, quiet, responsible. Patricia, a 25-year-old nursing student, cheerful, talkative, affectionate, and Sophia, a 22-year-old law student, intelligent, strong, determined. All 3 moved in the same week. Suddenly my house had life again. Voices, laughter, footsteps on the stairs. I was no longer alone. The girls were respectful. They cleaned their rooms, they helped in the kitchen, and most importantly, they kept me company without overwhelming me. Mrs. Laura, do you want us to do the grocery shopping? Let's go to the farmer's market, Patricia offered. Do you want me to help you with the garden? I love plants, Carla would say. Do you need me to review any legal documents? I'm studying contracts, Sophia would ask. Little by little, I began to heal. I didn't forget. I never could forget. But the sharp pain turned into a dull ache, bearable. A month after the girls moved in, Ethan sent me a text. Mum, I need to talk to you. Please. I didn't answer. A week later, another text. Mum, I'm sorry. I regret it every day. Please give me a chance to explain. I didn't answer that either. Then the calls started. 10, 20, 30. I blocked his number. Then he showed up at my door, knocking, yelling. Mom, please open up. I need to talk to you. The security cameras recorded everything. I watched him from my phone, from the living room, without moving. Patricia came down the stairs. Mrs. Laura, someone is knocking. Do you want me to open it? No, leave him. He'll get tired. Is it your son? Not anymore. Patricia didn't ask any more questions. She went back up to her room. Ethan stayed outside for an hour, crying, pleading, banging on the door. Finally, he left, and I went on with my life. I started taking yoga classes with Stella, going out more, visiting museums, doing things I had stopped doing when Robert died. When my life revolved only around my son, I discovered that I had friends, people who appreciated me, not for my house, not for my money, just for being me. I discovered that I could be happy, even without Ethan. It wasn't the same happiness as before. It was a different kind of happiness. Calmer, more mature, more aware. The happiness of someone who has survived something terrible and come out stronger. 2 months after the confrontation, I signed the new will. The house would no longer belong to Ethan. It would belong to the Dawn Foundation, which helped older women without family. When I died, my house would become a shelter, a place where other women like me could live their final years with dignity. That idea gave me peace. My sacrifice would not be in vain. My house, the one Robert and I built with so much effort, would serve a good purpose. And Ethan would have to live knowing that because of his greed he lost everything. Not just my love, not just my trust, but his inheritance too. That was my revenge, not with violence, not with hatred, but with justice, with dignity, with the certainty that I had made the right decision. One afternoon, while I was drinking tea in the garden with my 3 tenants, Sophia asked me, Mrs. Laura, can I ask you a personal question? Of course, honey. Do you have children? The other 2 girls fell silent. They knew it was a sensitive topic. I had told them part of the story, not everything, but enough. I thought about the answer. I thought about Ethan, the child he was, the man he became. I had a son, I finally said, but I lost him. I'm so sorry, Sophia said. Did he die? In a way, yes. The son I knew died, and in his place was someone I don't recognize. How sad. It is sad, I admitted, but it's also liberating, because now I know that I can survive without him, that I can be happy without him, and that is something I never thought would be possible. Carla took my hand. You are very strong, Mrs. Laura. Not always, but I learned to be. That night, alone in my room, I took out the old photographs, the ones of Ethan as a baby, as a child, as a teenager. I looked at them one by one, remembering, and then I put them away in a box at the back of the closet. I didn't throw them away. I couldn't, because that child in the photographs existed, and I loved him. But the man he became, that was no longer my son, and I was no longer his mother. We were 2 strangers, who shared blood. but nothing more. And with that clarity, that painful but necessary lucidity, I could finally start to let go. Not with forgiveness, that would come much later, or perhaps never, but with acceptance, with the understanding that some things break in ways that cannot be fixed, and that the only thing we can do is move forward, with dignity, with strength, with our heads held high, because surviving does not mean forgetting. It means learning to live with the scars. And that was exactly what I was doing. 6 months passed since that afternoon in my kitchen. 6 months in which I did not see Ethan or Lucy again. But the news arrived anyway. Because in this city, bad news always finds a way to reach you. Stella was the first to tell me. "Honey, did you hear about Ethan?" We were at the farmer's market buying vegetables for the week. I no longer went anywhere alone, always with Stella or one of the girls. "I haven't heard anything, and I prefer to keep it that way." "Well, he lost his job." I stopped with a tomato in my hand. "What?" "Yes, he was fired from the architectural firm. Apparently he had problems with a client, a badly done project. The client sued him. The firm didn't want to get into trouble, and they fired him." I felt something strange in my chest. It wasn't joy, but it wasn't sadness either. It was nothing, emptiness. "And what is he doing now?" "I don't know. My neighbor is friends with a cousin of Lucy's. She says Ethan is trying to find work, but no one wants to hire him. The lawsuit stained his reputation." We continued walking. I processed the information in silence. Ethan without a job. Ethan, who had always been so proud of his career, his projects, his degree. "There's more," Stella said cautiously. "What else?" "Lucy also stopped working. Why? No one knows for sure. Some say she quit. Others that she was fired for problems with the children's parents. The fact is that both of them are unemployed. And with the debts they have." She didn't finish the sentence. It wasn't necessary. Unemployed, in debt. Living in that apartment they hated so much. Life was collecting its payment. Not by my hand. I hadn't done anything. I hadn't reported them. I hadn't sued them. I hadn't called their jobs to tell them what they had tried to do to me. I didn't do anything. And yet, life found a way. 2 weeks later, Stella came to my house with more news. "Honey, you won't believe this." We were in the garden. I was watering my hydrangeas. Carla was helping me prune the roses. "What happened now?" "Lucy and Ethan separated." This news did surprise me. "Separated?" "Yes. Apparently there was a big fight. The neighbors heard screaming, things breaking, and the next day, Lucy left with suitcases. She went to live with her mum in Queens." Carla looked at me curiously. She didn't know the whole story, only that my son and I were estranged. "Your daughter-in-law left?" she asked. "It seems so," I replied. How sad. How predictable, I thought. Because of course they separated. Their marriage was never based on love. It was based on ambition, on greed, on the promise of money that never arrived. And when that promise faded, when it became clear that I wasn't going to die, that they weren't going to inherit anything, what were they left with? Nothing. Just resentment, guilt, the certainty that they had ruined everything for nothing. "And Ethan?" I asked, although I wasn't sure I wanted to know. "He's still in the apartment, alone. My neighbor says she sees him leave rarely, that he looks bad, thin, unkempt." I imagined my son, alone in that apartment he hated so much, jobless, wifeless, motherless. I felt something akin to pity, but not enough to look for him. because he had chosen that path. No one forced him. A month later, at Stella's birthday, I met Mrs. Mendoza, a woman about 50 who worked in human resources for a large company. We were chatting about a little bit of everything when she mentioned something. "Oh, I get all kinds of candidates lately. The other day I interviewed an architect, Ethan Spencer. He came from an important firm. But when I asked for references, you can't imagine what they told me." My heart raced when I heard the name. "What did they tell you?" Stella asked, looking at me out of the corner of her eye. That he was irresponsible, that he had problems with clients, that he had left on bad terms. And when I investigated further, I found that he has a civil lawsuit against him for damages in a construction project. Mrs. Mendoza shook her head. "Obviously, I didn't hire him. We can't risk it with people like that." "And what did he say?" I asked, unable to contain myself. "He started crying in the interview. He told me he needed the job, that he had debts, that his life was destroyed. It was very uncomfortable. I had to ask him to leave." The image of Ethan crying in an office, begging for work, broke something inside me, but not enough to forgive him, because I remembered another image, that of him and Lucy planning my death, talking about me as if I were an obstacle, as if my life was worthless. "What a shame," Stella said. "But that's life. Decisions have consequences." Mrs. Mendoza nodded. "Exactly. You build your reputation for years, and you can destroy it in a day." Ethan had destroyed his, not because of a professional mistake, but because of a much bigger moral mistake. And now he was paying the price. 3 more months passed. I continued with my life, my tenants, my routine, my yoga classes, my outings with Stella. It was a quiet, simple life, but it was mine. One afternoon, Patricia came home from the university, agitated. "Mrs. Laura, you won't believe what I saw." "What happened, honey?" "I saw a man outside the house, about 30 years old. He was standing on the corner, looking over here. When I went out to ask him if he needed anything, he ran away." My stomach tightened. "What did he look like?" "Tall, thin, with a beard. He looked, I don't know, sad, like lost." It was Ethan. It had to be. I checked the security cameras, and there he was, in the recording from that morning, standing on the corner, looking at my house, for more than an hour, than an id. He didn't come closer, he didn't knock, he just looked, as if he wanted to come in but didn't dare, as if he wanted to go back to a time that no longer existed. I saw him on the cameras 3 other times that week, always at the same time, always on the same corner. He never approached. I asked Sophia, the law student, to help me. "Honey, I need you to draft a restraining order." "Against whom?" "Against my son." Sophia said nothing. She just nodded and started working on the documents. A week later, an officer showed up at Ethan's apartment with the papers. Restraining order. He couldn't come within 200 yards of my house. If he did, he could go to jail. After that, he stopped showing up. But the news kept coming. That he had been evicted from the apartment for lack of payment. That he was living with a friend. That he had started drinking. Every piece of news was like a raindrop, small but constant, and together they formed a pool of misery. Ethan's life was crumbling, piece by piece. Not because of me. I hadn't done anything to destroy him. He had done it all himself. His decisions, his actions, his consequences. A year after the confrontation, Stella called me early one morning. "Honey, are you sitting down?" "Yes. What's wrong?" "Lucy is in the hospital." "What happened to her?" "She tried to commit suicide. Pills. Her mum found her in time and rushed her to the emergency room. I was silent, processing. Lucy, the woman who had planned my death with such coldness, had now tried to take her own life. Is she okay? Physically, yes. They saved her. But they say she's very bad psychologically, that she has severe depression, that she can't stop crying. And Ethan? I don't know if he knows. They don't have contact anymore. But, honey, this is heavy. Don't you feel anything? I thought about the question. Did I feel anything? I feel pity, I finally said, but not guilt. What she did, what they did to me, was real, and the consequences are also real. I don't wish them ill, but I'm not going to carry their pain either. You're right, Stella said. I just wanted you to know. We hung up. I sat in my living room, in the house I almost lost, surrounded by the life I had rebuilt, and I understood something. Justice doesn't always come with sirens and judges. Sometimes it comes in silence, in the natural consequences of our own actions. Ethan and Lucy had tried to take a shortcut, to gain wealth without working for it, to inherit without waiting, and in the process they had lost everything. Their jobs, their marriage, their dignity, their peace of mind. Not because I punished them, but because life has a way of balancing things, of collecting the debts we think are never paid. Ethan once called me crazy when I told him I couldn't simply give them my house. Years later, I was told, he was seen wandering the streets, talking to himself, with that vacant look of someone who has lost all sense and purpose. Life always collects its debts. And I, the woman they wanted to kill, was still here, breathing, living, loving my garden, laughing with my tenants, drinking coffee with Stella. Alive, while they drowned in the swamp they created themselves. That was justice, not perfect, not satisfying in the way the movies make us believe, but real and sufficient. Today I turned 61 years old, 2 years since that afternoon that changed my life forever. The girls made me a cake. Carla decorated the house with flowers from the garden. Patricia cooked my favorite dish. Sophia invited Stella and some of my friends. It was a small, intimate party, full of genuine laughter and sincere hugs. No one mentioned Ethan, but I thought about him. I thought about the boy he was, the birthdays we celebrated together, how Robert carried him on his shoulders so he could blow out the candles. That child no longer exists, and the man he became, he made his choices. A month ago I received a letter. It was slipped under my door, unstamped, left by hand. It was from Ethan. Mum, I know I don't have the right to write to you. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I need you to know something. I regret it every day. Every night I can't sleep thinking about what I did to you, what I almost did to you. I lost everything, my job, my marriage, my dignity, but what hurts the most is losing you. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm just asking you to know that the son you raised is still here, somewhere, buried under all the bad decisions. But he is still here, and that son loves you. He has always loved you. I'm sorry, Mum. With all my heart, I'm sorry. Ethan. I read the letter 3 times. I cried. I couldn't help it. But I didn't answer him. Because some wounds are too deep. Some mistakes have no return. And even though a part of me still loves the child he was, I cannot forgive the man who wanted to kill me. Maybe someday, when I'm very old, when I'm close to my natural end, maybe then I can find enough peace to forgive. But not today. Today I'm still healing. This morning, as I was watering my hydrangeas, I thought about everything that happened, everything I survived. And I understood something important. A mother's love is the strongest there is, but it can also be the most dangerous, because sometimes we love so much that we lose sight of the boundaries. We sacrifice everything, even our own life, for our children. But that is not love, that is surrender. True love also knows how to say no. It also knows how to set boundaries. It also knows how to walk away when staying means losing oneself. I loved Ethan with all my heart. I gave him everything I had. But when he wanted to take the only thing I had left, my life, I had to choose. And I chose to live. It wasn't easy. It was the hardest decision I've made in my 61 years. But it was the right one. Because today I am here, in my garden, in my house, surrounded by people who appreciate me not for what I have, but for who I am. This house is no longer a prison of memories. It is a home, a refuge for 4 women who needed a safe place. And when I'm gone, when my natural time comes, this house will continue to be a refuge for other women. Other Lauras who need a place to rebuild their lives. That will be my legacy. Not the money, not the assets, but the example of a woman who almost lost everything, but found the strength to keep going. If my story helps a single woman open her eyes, set boundaries, choose her own life over guilt and obligation, it will have been worth it. All the pain, all the loss, all the journey will have been worth it. I blow out the candles on my cake. The girls applaud. Stella hugs me. "What did you wish for, honey?" I smiled. I wished to live many more years, in peace, in my house, surrounded by people who truly love me. "That wish has already come true," Sophia says, squeezing my hand. And she is right. It has come true. Because today, 2 years after almost losing my life, I understand something fundamental. Surviving is not enough. You have to learn to live again, with dignity, with boundaries, with self-love. And that, finally, is what I am doing. Living truly for the first time in a long time, and it is beautiful.